What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of My Week in Anime. We're a few weeks into Anime Spring 2022, and I want to go over some of the shows that I think are good, some of them that kind of were disappointing, and then also some that were underrated because there are a lot of hidden gems this time around. And then after that, I'll talk about shows that already have a finished out series, and I'm going to be talking about one that I didn't think it was going to be good, but it actually turned out to be very solid. Before we get into it, again, if you like what you see, drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel and turn on that bell next to notifications so you don't miss out on another video. Again, follow me on Twitch. That link will be in the description. I'm streaming 3 days a week. If you want to know the schedule, you can join my Discord. That link will also be in the description. We have people playing mainly Destiny 2, but a variety of other games that we're talking about. Obviously, anime, PC tech, freaking everything on the server. Also, if you guys didn't know, I have a partnership with Overpowered, the creators of the OP bar. Pretty much the whole goal of it was to create a healthy alternative to energy supplements that are drinkable. This one comes in a chocolate bar. It's very healthy, all natural. If you guys want to check it out, that link will also be in the description, and be sure to use code Dave for a discount. All right, let's get into it. First up, I just want to talk about the big one. I think this one's going to be #1 for the season, Spy Family. Now, only 2 episodes are out, and it's, in my opinion, it's easily a classic. It blends action and rom-com perfectly. The animation's good. The characters are good. I literally have no complaints about the show, and it's already rated like, what, #5 on like my anime list or like whatever. So with only 2 episodes out, that's unheard of. Each character has a purpose there in the show, and it's all just coming and blending together super well. And yes, maybe yours overlooking that Lloyd might not be a psychiatrist, and he's overlooking that she might just not be a normal person. And then there's Anya, who's just there, and they don't even see all the red flags that are happening. And that is what makes this show good. Next, let's talk about Shikimori's Not Just a Cutie. Obviously, in this recent episode, Izumi gets hurt. She takes care of him. She balls out on the volleyball court, all this stuff. I like the show. It's good. It's got good situations, good characters, good animation. But I think my main issue is that people hype this up so much while My Dress Up Darling is out. And My Dress Up Darling, in my opinion, was a 10 out of 10. I really didn't have a lot of issues with the show. Characters were unique. They grew this relationship, and with Shikimori, they already have that established relationship. It's kind of hard to like move forward from there when they already have this thing here. There's not really a crazy amount of tension. Like, yes, like he thinks she's cute and she gets embarrassed, and then she gets serious and he thinks she's like whatever. So do I like the show? Yes. Do I think it's the best show of the season? No. Does it have Best Girl? Not after your in Spy X Family, in my opinion. It's a good show. I just think people overhyped it. But, you know, I'm hoping it gets better. We'll see what happens. Let's talk about Season 4 Date Alive. Obviously, only 2 episodes are out, and we're obviously getting into the part where it's Shido and the girls versus Nia, and this is going to be a manga writing contest, and she's a manga writer, and this is the whole way to get, you know, Shido to seal her powers, but obviously something's up. And then there's Kurumi, which is, there's this whole side thing where she's like wanting to know about the spirit of origin and how to kill it, because she can manipulate time and probably go back to the beginning of whenever that crap was created and just end it all right there, which you're 4 seasons in, and this is, if this ends up being what I think it's going to be insane for the show. All right, let's talk about the Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2. Again, there's only 2 episodes out at the moment, and they're just kind of setting it up for the whole Spirit Tortoise fight. Naofumi is still the G. He's sitting at the War Council table, and they're all arguing who's going to take credit and do this, and he's like, I could give less of a shit of how all this goes down, to be honest. Let's just kill the thing and move on with our day. And it's great. Like, Naofumi and Raphtalia share a moment, and they all get new gear by the end of the episode, so it's going to be interesting to see what episode 3 brings. Let's talk season 3 of Kaguya-sama Love is War. Again, like I said before, I have no complaints about this rom-com. It's still really good, but now in the recent episode, you have Hayasaka, like, going to a karaoke club where Miyuki is, and, you know, she's pretty much getting harassed, and he pulls her out of there, and then they get into the situation where, you know, maybe she likes him now, like officially. I have not read the manga. I've maybe heard a couple things, and I don't know if it's true or not, but like maybe this rom-com might get a little serious here this season. Speaking of rom-coms, let's talk about Science Fell in Love, So I Tried to Prove It. Again, it's one of these rom-coms, easy to watch, not really a lot of issues with it. This recent episode got a little dark, but ended up working out. It's still cute. It's still one of the running ones. If you would want to save this one until it's finished out for the season, I'd go for it, because that's what I might end up doing, and I might wait for the dub, because the dub's pretty good too. But other than that, I got no problems with the show. Not one bit. I want to talk about Love After World Domination, and I'm going to talk about Aharon-san at the same time here, because look, they're both good shows. They're both cute shows. They're both good at what they do. You know, Love After World Domination, you have the like action of like the Power Ranger type beat, and they're trying to meet in secret, and the animation's good and they're cute, and that's great and all. I'm probably going to wait until the whole thing finishes out. Probably the same thing with the Harn song. Like, you know, it's cute. I like the situations. The characters are unique. That's great and all. But is it something that has caught my attention because of how well it's performing in that genre? 50-50. We'll see what happens. Again, I do not know what happens in these series in the future. I'm hoping they get really good because, again, like I said, they both have good animation. They're both pretty solid at what they do. I'm just not super interested in covering this like crazy at the moment. Again, we'll see what happens. All right, let's talk about Skeleton Knight in Another World. Again, pretty solid isekai, mostly comedy, right? OPMC, goes on an adventure to help this girl. Obviously, problems have to happen, right? Basilisk shows up and he's like, well, this isn't normal. And he sees a thing on his ankle and he's like, I don't know what the heck that thing was. And apparently no other character cared to even research or ask what the freaking thing was on its ankle to figure out if they're being controlled or what the heck is happening. But they kind of hint at a couple things at the end of the episode, but still, it's a solid, you know, comedy isekai. I might hold out for a couple weeks just to, you know, binge a couple episodes because, you know what, I think it's pretty good, but it's one of those things where, in my opinion, there are very good isekais out right now. All right, let's talk about I'm Quitting Heroing. Again, this one's pretty solid. I'm liking it so far. The hero starts his like first day on the job working. He has to basically make a fake identity. He's like a black knight and he just proceeds to do castle maintenance to help out Shutina. And he does this whole thing in 2.5 hours. And she's like, well, I could have got it done faster. And he's like, well, now you don't have to do that work and I don't have to do that work now. So we just became way more productive. I'm going to help you. He embarrasses her a little bit. It's cute. It's funny. I'm excited to see where this actually goes, to see if it gets a little more serious, but I'm Quitting Heroing, solid across the board. Next, let's talk about The Executioner and Her Way of Life. You know what? I'm liking this show so far. The story's progressing very, very well. Again, people get isekai'd over to that world. If they have a very dangerous power, they get assassinated by the church, aka priestess. But apparently people don't know that that's what they do, except for a select few people who suspect it. They're like, well, where'd all these other worlders go? It's not us. It's not the citizens. So it has to be you. And so this one's interesting where they get on the train to head to another city to where, you know, Menno can't really execute, you know, Akiri because of her time magic. So there's like, well, we have a device that can handle that. You have to come to the city. And she's like, okay, let's take her there, whatever. Terrorists take over the train and they're like, well, crap, what do we do? And in the middle of one of the fights, this like time glitch happens. They're all like, what the heck just happened? And at the end of the episode, after, you know, Menno saves the train, she's like, what if the first time around I didn't save the train and we all died and she used her time magic to get us back to this certain point in time and then she came to the front of the train to help her out? Like, that just completely blew my mind. The show is interesting. I think a lot of people are giving it a lot of hate because it's moving kind of slow, but I really like the concept of the show. The animation's good. The magic, you know, concept that they have in the show is very good too. So I'm excited to see where this one goes. All right, I want to talk about a few underrated ones. Ya boy Kongming. Holy crap, this show cannot get any better. I'm loving it so far. Holy crap. I'm a music guy. Like, that's what I went to school for. And so them doing the singing right, the music right is great. You know, in this recent episode, after she completely destroys Mia in that club like contest and got everybody onto the floor with Kongming's, you know, strategy and help, he like basically like I can't even say he tricked them. It's just like once they got there, they couldn't figure out how to leave, so they stayed there. And I'm like, big brain. And he's like, you know what? We're gonna get you to a festival. And she's like, that might be a little much. And he's like, nah, don't worry about it. And so he has this whole plan figured out from like 24 hours prior, saying, hey, this band has a concert the next day. They're not gonna sing very hard, so we're gonna pretend we have equipment failure. And then right when they pause to talk about their concert tomorrow, we're gonna come in and we're gonna go crazy. And then people start going over their stage and they're like, hey, main band, why don't you perform your big song? And they're like, we can't. Like, that's what we're doing tomorrow for the concert. And then they leave that. And at the end, they're kind of butthurt at Kongming. They're like, hey, that was like a dirty move to pull, blah, blah, blah. Like, we had to work our way 6 years from that one stage. And he's like, look, it is what it is. I know you guys are singing tomorrow. Also, since I'm not a complete asshole, here is this throat remedy that's going to help you guys sing better tomorrow. Kongming is the GOAT. I got no problem. Aiko's a great singer. I got nothing. I'm liking this one. Next, let's talk about the greatest demon lord is reborn as a typical nobody. You know, after the first episode, I was like, how good is this going to get? But obviously, they have the time skip, and now they're at their magic school. And I didn't even realize this. I didn't even think about it. But the teacher at the school is one of his, like, generals from his past life. And he's like, crap, I can't let her figure out that I'm reincarnated now. And I basically abandoned my duties, like, thousands of years ago. And so instead of not doing that, he gets into a fight protecting Ginny, who is basically a servant of the one guy who's bullying her, Spencer, and he challenges to a duel and basically embarrasses the crap out of him, shows him how real magic is, and then at the end, Olivia's like, which again, this is the person from his past, she doesn't really know, she's like, interesting, you use 2 magic skills at the same time. No one has been able to do that for a very long time, and he's like, crap. He's like, it was just simple spells, and she's like, that's a lost skill. Kind of an L. And then they go into the dungeon. Ginny pretty much confronts her past and comes out better. And the whole goal of them going in the dungeon was to, you know, collect some furs pretty much. But they decided to kill the dungeon boss. And so when they come back up, the teacher's even more suspicious of him. It's great. It's basically like a more comedy focused version of what would be the Misfit of Demon King Academy, which that's like a 9.5, 10 out of 10 in my book. I really enjoy Misfit of Demon King Academy, so I'm hoping this one kind of goes down that route. And again, like I said, it's more comedy focused, so if it does its genre right, I think this could be a really, really good one. Another underrated one I want to talk about is Trapped in a Dating Sim. Holy crap, I've watched the first 2 episodes and I was like, this show's okay, whatever, but this 3rd episode, I'm like, I have to cover this now. Man goes demon time. He's like seeing one of the ladies challenge her fiance at the school. They're not married yet or anything, but he's like, well, if you challenge her and you lose, I'm not going to marry you, or like whatever. And, you know, instead of our main character sitting back as his mob character, he's like, why do I feel this way? Like, this is kind of crappy. I don't even know this other chick, Marie. She was not in the game before I got here. And he steps up and obviously Marie's being backed by, you know, the 5, you know, love interest. They all have colored hair. They're all pretty boys or like whatever. And he goes up and he's like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm like, why the heck are you going to do this? He's like, because I freaking hate them. And I was like, yo, let's go. It's freaking Menace arc time, baby. And he challenges all of them to basically a mecha battle. And he already kind of knows what's going to happen because he knows all their moves. But I'm excited to see what happens because he ends up figuring out through the AI he got in the first episode after finding the ship that Marie is not from the game. She's from another world too, which is, he's figuring this out. And I'm like, yo, this is actually going to be pretty good. So I did not think this was going to be good. It's underrated in my opinion at the moment. All right, I want to talk about another one. This is only in Japan. Summertime Rendering. Again, this is a Disney produced show apparently. So I was like, that's interesting. I want to watch this because I saw the trailer and I was like, oh, cute beach anime. Guy goes back to his island hometown, meets all of his friends again, and then they all get completely murdered by somebody on the island. And then it starts over again. I was like, is this ReZero? You pulled me in with the trailer like that. Like everything glitches out. I'm like, bruh, okay. So I'm excited to see it. The animation looks good. That's another thing too. So I think it's only in Japan right now. I think 1 episode's out. But Summertime Rendering, look into that. Look at the trailer. Your brain might just go crazy. All right, and those are my thoughts on the new spring 2022 anime. Let's talk about a show that's been completed, that I watched fully, and that I enjoyed a lot more than I thought. The Ancient Magus' Bride. This is easily one of the better supernatural dark fantasy anime that I've watched. Like, great characters, great moving story, great character progression, especially like with the variety of characters that are introduced. The way that magic works in that show, where you have magic, alchemy, and then the fantasy aspect where there are like fairies, but there's such a variety of them. Oh, and then you have the other world. Oh, there's dragons too. Like, what the heck is even going on? There's so many moving parts. There's not really a lot of world building. There's a couple of places where they end up going, but each one is still pretty unique in what they're doing there. Chise and Elias's character progression throughout the show is great. Like, Elias isn't human, but he's like feeling these like human emotions. He's like, I don't know what these are. I've been around for hundreds of years and I just don't know what the heck this is. And Chise's teaching him how to be human. He's teaching her, you know, how to be a mage, how to basically survive longer. Like, the way that her, like, basically DNA in her body, she's like weaker and more susceptible to certain magic things, but she's also very powerful in the same aspects. So holy crap, this was a good series. Going into this, I did not think it was going to be that good, but animation was good, character good, story good. I give this a 9 out of 10. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for me. Obviously, there are a lot of shows coming out, a lot of shows getting their part 2, anything from Tomodachi Game to Requiem of the Rose King to, the Magical Madoka side story. There are so many other shows that are coming out, even shows with, fall 2021 and winter 2022 getting their dubs finished out that I'm going to be watching just to binge those so I can get reviews out. And speaking of that, I appreciate you guys literally going crazy on TikTok right now. Like, I had one video hit like 1 million views, another one's almost at 1 million views. I appreciate y'all. I gained probably 7,000 followers in like a week, and I'm gonna continue busting these videos out for you guys. Obviously reaction content, reviews, even mindset and stuff like that. We're still gonna be doing all that on the TikTok, so just be on the lookout. Lastly, before I go, if you guys didn't know, I am the content lead at Team Bove, an upcoming gaming and apparel brand. And I want to talk about our 2 partners. Advanced being our drinking supplement. Again, it has new level in it, caffeine, vitamin B complex. It's very healthy compared to other brands. And the company's operated by experts in the dietary industry. And Gamer Advantage being our eyewear / eye health supplier. Again, I'm wearing Gamer Advantage glasses right now. They're actually prescription, which is very nice. They also have sunglasses that can just clip on. You don't have to worry about having transitions or anything like that. Then they also have vitamins as well to help out your eyes as well. And for Advanced and Gamer Advantage, you can use code VOVE at checkout. And anyway, guys, hope to catch you in the next video.